Hey guys, welcome to Herding Little Cows. Tonight is October 11th. My due date is tomorrow, so I'm 39 weeks, 6 days, and I am still here. Longest I've ever been pregnant, and definitely feeling uncomfortable tonight. And my body is making changes, but I'm going to leave it at that because this could be happening for a while, but things could get on the road soon, so I'm not sure. It's like 8 o'clock on October 11th. Maybe this guy's waiting for his due date tomorrow. Maybe he's waiting for induction next week. I don't know. So if you'd like to see what goes on with the baby and all of that, we will be making a video right after the baby, like shortly after the baby, to announce the baby, and we will also have some videos that might include some labor stuff. I don't know. We'll see how I feel in labor. So we will have those. But if you want to make sure that you catch those, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you for everybody who's been watching and praying for us over this time. But we will let you know when he comes. So today's video is a little bit controversial, and I don't have the energy to start really long controversies at this moment. But while I was thinking about this, I wanted to say something. So if people have questions about these things and want to contact me in a few weeks after I settle from baby, let me know. Or if people want to start a discussion here on my thing, please keep it civil. But there are a lot of decisions to make for your baby when you first have a baby, and then for your children as you go on. So I just wanted to mention some of these things. As a parent, you have a right to either accept or refuse different things throughout your pregnancy, delivery, and then for your children as they grow up. And so I was just going to mention some of these things, mention briefly some of what these things are. And I'm not going to give an exact say on what we do and don't do. Some of these things on the list we do, and some we do not do. So like I said, I don't want to start a big controversy tonight. It's more I want to challenge you to think through what is best for your baby and to make informed decisions. I know there are so many things in this world that we do just because we are told to do them. Like if you go to the doctor and you've got strep throat, they're going to say, here, take this. I think it's an antibiotic you take for strep. I don't even know because we haven't dealt with it recently. But a lot of people would just say, oh, okay, give me the medicine. Some people would say, no, I'd like to go a more natural way. And I am for people doing it either way. We have done different things in different pregnancies, different illnesses, different situations in our family, and it's you needing to make an informed decision either way you do it. If you go for the medicine, great, as long as you made an informed decision about it. If you go with the natural way, great, as long as you made an informed decision about it and know what the pros and cons of those decisions are. So, like I will mention two specific cases that have to do with antibiotics. We are a family that chooses to try to heal things naturally if we can. Both of these events happened 10 years ago. Mark had Giardia, which is when you drink tainted water from sometimes like a third world country. I don't know exactly where it comes from. He got it from somewhere in southern Texas. So anyway, he had a parasite in his gut that was making him very, very sick. He was losing weight. By the time we figured out what it was, he was so sick that we immediately started the antibiotics. I didn't even look up anything natural to try because he was very sick and we needed to do that. Right after that, just a few weeks later, I delivered Joshua, who was stillborn. And I explained in a different video, he had group B strep. We had the coroner call us and tell us that I had group B strep. Also, if I had this list of symptoms, then I probably had group B strep. And they said, yes, I said, yes, I have all those symptoms. So we called the doctor's office and they refused to see me. That was part of the medical malpractice stuff that went on in California. So I looked up natural things, which did make me start to feel better. But when I went for my 6-week postpartum with a different doctor, I was still very sick and I immediately started those antibiotics. So, and I might have started them as soon as I had been told the first time, had my doctor actually seen me. But both of those, we had not had antibiotics in years in our family because we had been able to treat things naturally. But both of those were times we felt, no, we're going to go right to the big medicine and do this. So, like I said, informed decisions. I just want to mention some things that you can choose to do or not to do, but making informed decisions for your children. So, here's the list. In pregnancy, they recommend that you get your DTaP, which is your diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis vaccine. I think it's around 28 weeks. I don't know, all the weeks run together for me. So I think it's around 28 weeks. And they suggest anyone who's going to be a main caregiver for your baby. So mom, dad, if a grandparent's going to be watching them, whoever's going to be in their care. Something you can take, something you can choose not to take. Just putting that out there. Another thing that happens around that same time, again, I think it's 28 weeks, is RhoGAM. This is only pertinent for people who have a negative blood type. Mark has a positive blood type and I am negative. So our babies have a chance of having a positive blood type. And if my blood were to mix, like this pregnancy, if my blood were to mix with Malachi's, my body could start making antibodies that would be a problem in a future pregnancy. So I don't know how many women have to deal with this. I don't know the percentage of it. But I wouldn't have a problem with this pregnancy, but I could have a problem with another pregnancy of a baby that's born very sick or stillborn. So that again is another one you can do or not do. The RhoGAM shot I know is something that you do, I think it's 28 weeks pregnant, and then you get it again after baby's born. So those are the ones. I made a quick list before I came on here tonight. Again, look at these things as doctors present them to you. But some things that they're going to try to do at the hospital. Again, we do some of these, don't do some of these, so I'm just going to leave it at that. One of the things they do is a vitamin K shot, which is, vitamin K is the clotting factor in your blood that helps you stop bleeding, both internal bleeds and external bleeds. And so there are, it's a shot they give babies. I think there's also oral drops you can give babies, or not do it at all. So those are the options there. They also do a blood test on baby where they prick their heel, get these, they have like this card with little circles on it, and they prick the baby's heel and they have to fill the circle with blood, these 3 circles, and it gets sent off and they test for all kinds of things baby could have issues with allergies and other things. I don't remember all of them. There's it's like 50 different tests or something. There's a lot that goes into that test. So that's the heel prick blood test they do on newborns. They do a hearing test where they put these little things over baby's ears and put different things, electrodes on their head, and do noises. I don't know how they decide if a baby can hear or not, but they do a hearing test at the hospital, and sometimes they have to repeat that test because if baby still has a lot of fluid from living in the amniotic sac, it hasn't all cleared yet. Sometimes they have to redo the test later. So that test can have some false positives that there's hearing loss when there's really not, because you go back and have it done later. They do eye drops, which I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's for some STDs that you could be present when you have the baby, and the eye drops prevent that. But I don't remember exactly what that one is for. The hepatitis B is a shot that they give newborns right there in the hospital. Again, one you can choose to have or not. And the other decision to make for at the hospital is if you're having a baby boy, whether you're going to do a circumcision or not. These are all decisions. You just need to know what the pros are and what the cons are, because if you look online, you'll see lots of pros and cons to a lot of these things. Some have less pros and cons than others, like the hearing test. You might get a false positive, but it's not actually intrusive and hurting the baby at all. But you'd have to look those things up. So just things to mention. Again, we're going to go past baby being born, well, past the delivery itself, into after baby comes home. Cloth diapering, you can do that at the hospital if you choose, but cloth diapering is something that There are pros and cons, just amount of time it takes and everything like that, versus the amount of trash you're putting in the landfill. I will say on cloth diapering, we've done both ways, and that's just a choice you're going to have to make. Co-sleeping, or sleeping in a crib in your room, sleeping in a crib in the other room. You will see lots of information on safe co-sleeping practices. I think it's called the Safe 7, was a site that they told us about, of practices of keeping babies safe if you do keep them in your bed, but they also say that co-sleeping can lead to other things. So something you and your spouse would have to figure out if that's something that's right for you. And that might even be whether people can sleep with another baby in the bed. Because some people just can't sleep if there's a baby in the bed. Whether you're going to breastfeed or bottle feed, there are pros and cons to all of it. I will tell you on this one, we have breastfed all the babies. We have not done formula. But I also know that there's times where I have a friend that I haven't talked to in a while, but she was not able to breastfeed. There were various reasons, and she was never able to make enough breast milk, and I actually helped pump some milk for her baby. So there are options to be able to get breast milk outside of if you're not able to do it. But I find breastfeeding to be very easy, very comforting to both mom and baby, and cheaper than formula. But there are times that formula needs to be chosen. I have a friend who might be watching this video. I don't want to name her, but she had a really difficult delivery of baby then ending up in the NICU and stuff. And as I told her, it's best for baby to be fed. And if your milk's not coming in and baby needs to be fed, don't feel like a failure because you had to formula feed. But going into it with making informed decisions rather than just making a decision there at the end. And I'm sorry, I keep looking down. I have a list here in my hand. So I'll try to put it up a little further. Along with breastfeeding is the introduction of solid foods. I know some people who give their baby solid foods at 3 or 4 months old. I have kept my babies off solid foods till almost a year. There has been informed decision, like there's been reasons behind that, but there's also been, I make enough breast milk and I haven't had to make that decision of babies not getting enough food. So look that up. And then another, vaccines. They will give you the option at the hospital for the hepatitis B, but then they'll start giving vaccine shots. I think 2 months old is when the first shot starts. So it's something you need to research before you get to the doctor's office and they start doing it. I know some parents who have chosen to do vaccines for various reasons because of, someone who has an autoimmune compromised person in their family. And I know people who have decided to not give vaccines because they have an autoimmune compromised person in the family. So there's a lot of research to do on that. Again, that's a big deal in Maine right now because they are making mandatory vaccines. And I do not feel the government should be telling us what we have to put in our bodies. Whether you choose to do vaccines or not, the government shouldn't be the ones telling you which ones you do and don't have to do. So, and then going on, for later on, the idea of homeschooling. I know that's another thing that I just assumed when our oldest turned 5, you put them on the bus and you send them off to school. And I realized that you don't have to do that. You can make an informed decision to keep your child home. I do know people who have also sent their kids off to school for various reasons. Some, like I know, have high school kids and they send them off to a vocational school to be able to learn a trade. Some have chosen to do it at a younger age because of an illness in the family or something like that. Some have chosen to go right to public school. But again, informed decisions to make sure that you're doing what's best for your child, for your family, for you and your spouse, and between what is right with you and God. So, like I said, I don't have the time and energy right now to get in big, long discussions about this. If you send me a personal message, I may or may not answer it. I will try to answer you and say, I don't have time to talk about this. But if people would like to have a discussion in here, just please keep it civil. I just wanted people to have a list of things to start looking up if they're looking at having a baby in the near future and might not know some of these things that they have choices on. So again, inform yourself. As I said before, if you want to make sure that you get baby updates, please subscribe to our channel. That will help us make sure that you guys are getting the information you want. And we will see when this happens. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.